Robbie Franco, the General Manager of Development for Jewish Care Victoria. Shalom, welcome to our program.
Shalom, Alex, and thanks for having me.
Well, Jewish Care Victoria is in the midst of its appeal already. Can you perhaps outline, first of all, how it's going, and what is it that you're trying to achieve with this year's appeal?
Alex, the appeal got off to a great start. Last week, Thursday evening, we had the gala dinner, which launched the appeal. We had over 650 people attending, and the results so far are extremely encouraging. We're showing a definite upswing in terms of both the number of people and the amounts that they have chosen to donate. What we're trying to do this year is basically connect people both to the organization and also talk about giving is in our nature. We have a design which is in the papers, which is on billboards everywhere, which is basically a DNA helix. And we chose that because we believe that giving is inherent and intrinsic to the Jewish people from almost time immemorial, one could say, looking after our larger family, the tribe, if you want to call it that way. And we have an inbuilt obligation to look after our people and look after broader society as well. And therefore giving has become part of our nature. And we're hoping that with this message, we're able to reach more and more people in this community and explain the exact needs of this Jewish community, and the needs are very many, and they are very big.
Most people, including many of our listeners, are already the beneficiaries of Jewish care, of course, or touched by it in some way or another. Most visibly is when we visit the Montefiore homes, the Gary Smorgan homes, and places like that. But there's a lot more that Jewish care does in a community, isn't there?
Absolutely, Alex. You know, the brand audit that we ran about 18 months ago showed that there was over 92% recognition of Jewish care. On the other hand, there was actually a fairly low understanding of the breadth of the services that Jewish care provides to this community. Most people have associated Jewish care with old age and disabilities, but in fact we have a wide range of services, many of which receive little or no government funding. And we call these our social justice programs, and they include financial aid, mental health programs, counseling, housing assistance, information and referral, disability services, employment training, cultural and spiritual services, healthy aging programs, and of course kosher food services. And we need to raise about $5.3 million this year in order to recoup what we've already committed to laying out across all these services and programs to this community. So we have a big task ahead of us, and the need in this community is great. In fact, about 30% of the Jewish community live on a combined annual income of less than $50,000, which puts them into a very difficult situation. And we know that financial stress can lead to other stresses as well in terms of relationships, quality and standard of living, just to name a few. So we have a lot to do, and we're very enthusiastic about getting it done in the right way and as quickly as possible.
We're speaking with Robbie Franco, the General Manager of Development for Jewish Care Victoria. Robbie, the government has recently announced changes in their policies towards care, particularly care of the elderly. Is that in line with Jewish care, or will that mean also a change of direction?
Absolutely. Jewish care is in a very interesting position. Together with Monash University, we engaged in a study of our aging population that was headed by Professor Andrew Marcus, and the aging report, which was one in a series of the Gen 08 reports on this community, was released at the end of the year, end of last year. And basically what we have is a wonderful documented evidence-based reports on this aging community. What we find is that by 2025, which is not too far away, the Jewish community will have reached the highest percentage of elderly people in this country pro rata. and we will have peaked at 25 years before the general Australian population. Now, all of that research is basically driving our strategic decisions as to the services that we need to provide to our elderly. And what we've found is that most elderly people want to live in their homes for as long as possible. So we will need to be providing a broader spectrum of services to as many people as possible. But we also need to have a careful look, which we are doing and have done, at upgrading the facilities that we have, many of which were built a number of decades ago and which were correct and state-of-the-art at the time, but are outdated and, putting it mildly, just not sufficient for the needs of a current generation. So we're looking at a capital program which will serve this community very, very well for the coming 2 decades.
You've mentioned some startling statistics and challenges there. How can people get involved? How can people get in touch?
If anyone wants to be of any kind of assistance, we'd encourage them to give us a direct call online as well by going to our website, which is JewishCare.org.au. Traditionally, people think that philanthropists are multimillionaires or billionaires. The names that come to mind overseas are Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and of course many people in our community who are well known for their generosity. In fact, philanthropy can be defined as a conscious decision by every man and woman to donate according to their ability and according to their capacity. And I can tell you that I'm signing thank you letters and receipts for amounts ranging from $2 up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that full spectrum is covered. And that reflects actually our community, and that reflects the fact that every single person who makes that decision to donate to try and assist somebody else, whether it is $5 or $10 or whether it is $100,000 or $1 million, is a philanthropist. And we thank each and every one of these people for supporting their community. But I'd like to point out something else which is a startling statistic and a very positive one. You know, donations are not only material and financial. A lot of people donate their time as well. And in the past year, we're the beneficiaries of over 28,000 hours of volunteer time to Jewish Care. Over 300 volunteers donated over 28,000 hours of their time to this organization, which is an incredible testament to the caring, the concern, the dedication, and the feeling. And if I had one message that I'd like to get out to this community, it's connect with the community, because we're talking about the long-term stability of our own families, our parents, ourselves maybe, our children, definitely our grandchildren. So the more that we give and take care of the organization, the more the organization is actually able to feed back and take care of the community.
Robbie Franco, I think that clearly says giving in kind is as important as giving in monetary terms. Thank you very much, and we wish you all the best and the Jewish Care in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that.